Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Sagana Laita Shri Vishakamitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinavandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Bhakti Yoga So today is the holy appearance day of Sri Radha. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Vrindavan, nobody knew where was Radha, Kunda and Shambhago. Not even the forest of Vrindavan, because there are 12 forests. He asked which forest is Vrindavan. Nobody knew. He discovered Vrindavan himself. He found this Imlitala next to it. And then under that tree, Radha and Krishna will wait for each other. So Krishna will sit under that tree waiting for meeting Radharani. And when she was a little late, he will feel a lot of separation from her. And his body will become golden, like Radharani. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat under that tree, first he embraced the tree, shed tears of love, remembering Krishna. And feeling great separation from Krishna, his golden body became bluish like Krishna. So from here, Vrindavan, he went to Govardhan. And after he did Govardhan Parikrama, he asked the local people, where is Radha Kunchana? Nobody knew. So, by his spiritual potency and vision, we used to have a painting in that wall there, Mahaprabhu discovering Radha Kunda. In a paddy field, he found two small ponds. He said, this is Radha Kunda and Shambhago. And there he offered prayers to Radha Kunda. Maybe we can sing them together. You can sing after me the prayers. Please repeat. Yata Radha Priya Vishnu Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata Sarva Gopeshu Saivaika Vishnurathyanta Vallava. Just as Radha is dear to Lord Krishna, so her bathing place, Radha Kunda, is dear to him. She alone is his most beloved of all the gopis. This verse is from Padma Purana, recited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he continued, glorifying. Sabagopi haite Radha Krishnera preyasi, taiche Radha Kunda priya priyara sarasi. Of all the gopis, Radharani is the dearmost. Similarly, the lake known as Radha Kunda is very dear to the Lord because it is very dear to Srimati Radharani. Yei kunde nitya Krishna radhikara sanghe jale jala kelikare Okay? In that lake, Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani used to sport daily in the water and have a rasa dance on the bank. Madhya 18:9. Seikunde ekavara karisnana Radha Sama Prema Krishna Karidana. Indeed, Lord Krishna gives a static love like that of Srimati Radharani to whoever bathes in that lake, even once in his life. Madhya 18:10. Kundera madhuri jenaradhara madhurima Kundera mahima jenaradhara mahima. The attraction of Radha Kunda is as sweet as that of Srimati Radharani. Similarly, the glories of the Kunda are as great as Srimati Radharani's. Because of its wonderful transcendental qualities, Radha Kunda is as dear to Krishna as Srimati Radharani. It was in that lake that the all-opulent Lord Sri Krishna performed his pastime with Srimati Radharani with great pleasure and transcendental bliss. Whoever bathed just once in Radha Kunda attains Srimati Radharani's love attraction for Sri Krishna. Who within this world can describe the glories and sweetness of Sri Radha Kunda? This is a verse Prabhupada quoted in Madhya Lila 18:12, and the verses from Govinda Lilamrita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus offered praise to Radha Kunda. Overwhelmed by ecstatic love, he danced on the bank, remembering the past times Lord Krishna performed on the bank of Radha Kunda. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then marked his body with tilak made from the mud of Radha Kunda. And with the help of Balabhadra Acharya, he collected some of the mud and took it with him. So, we see how Lord Chaitanya glorified Sri Radha Kunda as no different from Srimati Radharani. And you know the pastime. That place is called Arishta or Ari, sometimes people call it. That's the place where Arishtasura, gold demon, was killed by Lord Krishna. One demon took the shape of a bull and came to Vrindavan, a gigantic big bull, to kill Krishna. So Krishna killed him. And Radharani told Krishna, since you killed a male cow, bull, now you have to go to take bath in all the holy rivers in the whole universe to purify yourself from that sin. Krishna said, how can I give up your association, the land of Vrindavan, to wander over the universe? No, I will ask them to come here. So he called all the rivers. Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in the purport of this pastime, the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, he gave very interesting details of this wonderful pastime of Lord Krishna, Srimati Radhika. So, they told the gopis told Krishna, the same way that Indra had to do atonement after killing Vritrasura, now you have to do the same thing. You have to travel all the holy places in the three worlds. So Krishna called on the holy river, and then Krishna said, this is the water of the Bhagavati river coming from the Patala region, not only from the upper planet, also from the lower planets. And now, O holy places, all of you, please come here. When the Supreme Lord has spoken these words, all the holy places went there and appeared before him. Krishna then addressed the gopis as follows. See all the holy places. But the gopis replied, we don't see them as you describe. Then those best of holy places, joining their palms in supplication, spoke up. I am the salt ocean. I am the ocean of milk. I am the Amara persona. I am the Sindhu. I am the Tamraparni. I am the holy place Pushkar. I am the river Saraswati. And we are the Godavari, Yamuna, and Reva rivers. And the confluence of rivers at Prayag. Just see our waters. So Krishna, with his foot, he digged the ground and made a big, huge hole. So all the water entered that hole. And Krishna took bath in it. Then Krishna told Radharani and the gopis, because you sided with the demon, now you also need to get purified from this simple reaction. Come and take bath in my Kunda, my lake. Radharani said, no way, your Kunda is now contaminated with the simple reaction you left there. We are going to make our own Kunda. So, the tradition said that the gopis took all their bangles and started to make a big hole in the ground. And after making it, they planned to bring water from Manasiganga. They make a big line with big jars, and they were collecting the water. Now, this Manasiganga is no different from Ganga Mata, the river Ganges. Once Narada Muni was visiting Vrindavan, and he was telling Nanda Maharaj about the glories of Ganga Mata, the river Ganges. He told him that once Garuda grabbed a huge big snake to eat it, and he was flying over the Ganges. The snake could release itself from his grasp and fell on the Ganges, leaving its body. And immediately took a form, 400 forms, and went back to Vaikuntha. Just by touching the holy water of the Ganges while dying, the snake was free. So after hearing that, Nanda Maharaj decided that I should do a pilgrimage to take bath in the Ganges. But Krishna didn't want his father to do that effort to go so far away. So with his mind, he called Ganga here. So that's Manasiganga. So the gopis were collecting water from there. But then Krishna ordered the holy rivers, go and ask Radharani to allow you to do some seva for her. So all the holy rivers came. The representative of all the holy places fell at Radharani's feet and begged for opportunity to do some seva for her. So she agreed, and they filled, all the holy rivers filled her Kunda, and then Radharani, the gopis, took back there. So that's the Leela. Also it is said Radha Kunda and Shyama Kunda appeared in the spiritual world. The pastime is that in their mutual love, their body melted and Krishna's body became Shyama Kunda, Radha's body became Radha. That's the pastime. So now, yesterday one devotee was telling me to take bath or not to take bath. That's the controversy. Well, we can hear something what Prabhupada said about it. You want to hear that? I hope you don't get discouraged. So, okay. Now, when the first devotees, the Western devotees came to Vrindavan, they already read the Upadeshamrita, nectar of instruction. So, very enthusiastically, they went to take bath in Radha Kund. and came to Prabhupada's notice that they were, diving and splashing the water with their feet and diving and all these things. So Prabhupada was very upset. And he forbade them to take bath in Radha Kunda. But in his purport, Prabhupada said, yes, you can take bath in Radha Kunda. So, let's see. Okay, here it is. Well, Prabhupada said that if one actually understands that Radha Kunda is not different from Radharani, how can you touch Radha Kunda with your feet? He said, better take a few drops and put on your head. That's actual Radha Kunda consciousness. Prabhupada said like that. But also he said, of course, about the Shamrita, I explained that one should take bath. And also when he was here in his last days, he asked somebody, please take bath in Radha Kunda on my behalf. So there is mention of that too. And we should take notice of these things. So to take bath or not is up to everyone. You decide. Both of things are allowed. So there is nothing against, scripturally at least, in the Shastra, against taking bath and Radha. But at the same time, should be done with great awe and reverence. No splashing, no swimming, no jumping. 3 dips, and that's it, for purification. With the proper respect, obeisance, prayers, following the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then, in that proper attitude, we can take bath. Now the question may arise. In the Shastra, there's so much glorification of Radha Kunda that even if one takes bath even once, will attain the love of Radharani for Krishna. So why is that happening? Many devotees have taken many baths, including myself, and where it is, the love, the praying, where it is, it's not that easy and cheap. Understand? It's not mechanical, it's not automatic. It has to do with the purification. Every holy place has its external and internal mood, and depends with what kind of consciousness we approach. It will reveal to us little or more, or not at all. Depends on our state of consciousness. Srila Bhaktivedanta, he recited sometime Radha Kunda, and he composed a very beautiful song glorifying Radha Kunda. He said in that song, Chintamani moi Radha Kunda tata, tahe kunja sata sata, prabala vidruma, moi tarulata, mukta fale avanata. The bags of Sri Radha Kunda are made of billions of conscious ecstatic desire for freeing touchstones. And surrounding the lake are hundreds and hundreds of beautiful transcendental gardens and groves. All the trees and creepers in those gardens are made of coral and rubies, and the fruits they produce are diamonds and pearls. Indeed, their branches are bending down to the ground to the weight of so many lovely gemstones fruits. Any of us have seen this? Ever? Maybe someday in the future life. So when we can have this kind of vision, then it's a different story. Prabhupada chastised the devotees a lot about to take things for granted so cheaply, so easily, you know. We have to be very careful with that. Prabhupada said, first there is test. Etam Begam Yo Vishahita Dira. Then for him Radha Kunda. Dira Satrana Muyati. He has got 3,000 Sevadasi and living in Radha Kunda. My Guru Maharaj wanted to publish Govinda Lilamrita. He has permission of Bhaktivedanta. So first of all, Bhaktivedanta, I'll tell you someday. And when he reminded, he said, yes, you can print one copy. If you are so much anxious to print it one copy. You will read and you will see that you have printed, not for distribution. See, nowadays everybody printing Govinda Lilamrita, Srila Bhaktivedanta, you don't agree? And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he forbade his disciple to read few books. One of them is Govinda Lilamrita. Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam Jai Krishna Balaram. Prabhupada said this mantra we can chant at this temple. Please repeat. Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam Jai Krishna Balaram. Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam Jai Krishna Balaram. So, Prabhupada was chastising some devotees who wanted to immediately jump over and, think they are already there. So Prabhupada said, if you have not understood Krishna, then you will think Krishna is Rasa Leela just like mixed with young women. And that becomes polluted because they do not understand Krishna. Manushyam sahasre chukasti matati siddhaya. Apisidana. Krishna understanding is so easy. If you do not understand Krishna, how can you go to Krishna's combination activities? Some of the devotees, they said that it is for liberated souls. So they say, we are all liberated. Prabhupada, yes, liberated for going to hell. So, there is one pastime of Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He went with his disciples, Prajamanta Parikrama in 1934. And he went to Ranakon. And he was lecturing there, Sri Sopanisha, Padeshamrita. Some local Baji were coming, they came first time, they stopped coming. They said, oh, he's a Gyani. They were expecting some Ras Leela, Kaka or something. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, they think they live in Radhakon, they live in Narakon. Hell, Narak. Like Prabhupada criticizing. It's not physically just go live there. Prabhupada said, you try to imitate Haridas Thakur by living in a secluded place, just chanting, you'll only think of money, women, and sex gratification. What's the use? Imitations. Sahaja means imitations. So we should be very careful with that mentality to imitate. So, one Kunda. And all the family was doing Radha Kunda Dandavat Parikrama all around. So one disciple told Srila Bhaktivedanta, just see how much devotion they have for Radharani, all the family are doing this Dandavat Parikrama. And Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur said that their point of view is different from ours. The disciples were eager to listen, and he said, they offer respect and worship Radha Kunda because Radharani is Krishna's favorite, and because she is connected to Krishna, that's why they offer respect to her. But our point of view is different, he said. Our main object of love and worship and service is Radharani. And because Krishna is her favorite, that's why we also worship him too. But our main concern is her, nothing else. When Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur was very ill in his past time, leaving this world, some disciples went to see him, Jagannath Puri, and one disciple in charge of a temple, he was explaining about some managerial problems. So one of the sannyasi got disturbed that Guru Maharaj is ill and he's coming to speak about management and it's not proper. But then another sannyasi told him, no, you should not misunderstand like that. Krishna's temples are for Krishna's service, and that's Radharani's department. To see that Krishna's service is going on nicely, that's Radharani's service. Mainly the Seva Puja and the kitchen and everything else included is under Radharani's department. So Guru Maharaj taking keen interest that the management is going nicely in the temple, he's assisting Radharani in her service to Krishna. That is the proper mentality to have in doing seva at the temple. So, Prabhupada, yes, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittite Koriyai Arna Koriye Mane Asha. Has he taken order from Guru Maharaj that I'm going to jump over Radha Kunda? Why does he go? Daily singing Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittite Arna Koriye. Why should he decide like that? Means one has to ask permission from his Guru. That's the point. Gopal Krishna. There are some devotees who always want, Prabhupada, they are not devotees, rascals. Don't say some devotees. Devotees will hear. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittite Koriya Aikarna Koriye Mane. Achutananda. They also wear the Radha Kunda Mati, Tilak. Prabhupada, there is no harm, but they should understand what is Radha Kunda and how to deal with Radha Kunda. Raghunath Goswami showed how to live in Radha Kunda. Sankhya Purvakana Magana Nativi Kalabasani Kritao. He was circumambulating Radha Kunda, falling down, making mark. That is Radha Kunda. Vasi, Sankhya Purvakana Magana Nativi. Not only counting holy names, but offering obeisances so many hundreds of times. That is Radha Kunda. He is so much vairagya he showed. He can take bath in the Radha Kunda. First of all, do this like Raghunath Das Goswami. Sankhya Purvakana Magana Nativi Kalabasani Krito. So Radha Kunda, who will live in Radha Kunda? One is topmost devotee, and if he mixes with third-class devotees, how is fit for living in Radha Kunda? There is no difference between Radha Kunda and Radharani. So how can you jump over Radharani? Radha Kunda and Radharani no different. How you can enjoy Radha Kunda by swimming? You cannot touch with your feet even Radha Kunda. You can take little water and keep it on the head. That is respectful to Radha Kunda. Of course, things are going on like that, but strictly speaking, Radha Kunda should be respected as Radharani herself. That is Radha Kunda consciousness, highest Radha Kunda consciousness. This room conversation, September 5, 1976, Vrindavan. So don't be discouraged. Today is a special day. Some devotees say that in the appearance of Radha Kunda, that's the only day that we may take bath. So, what do you think? Alright. So, Raghunath Das Goswami, he got from a wealthy man a donation and used that money to expand Radha Kunda and Shyama Kunda. And when he was going to dig Shyama Kunda to make it wider, he had a dream. The Pandavas, 5 Pandavas, appeared to him in a dream and told him, we are standing here like 5 trees to see the Leela for Krishna. So please don't cut us off. That's why Shyama Kunda has a different shape than Shyama Kunda and Radha Kunda, to save those dreams. So sometime Raghunath Das Goswami will sit next to Shyama Kunda meditating on Krishna Leela. Once Sanatana Goswami was passing through and he saw that the tigress was drinking water from Shyama Kunda next to Raghunath Das Goswami. But behind Raghunath Das Goswami was Sri Krishna with Sudarshan Chakra, ready in case the tigers attack Raghunath. He was ready to protect his devotee. So Sanatana Goswami chastised Raghunath Das Goswami. This is not proper. You are accepting service from Sri Krishna, object of love and service. By doing this, better make a hut, bhajan kutir for yourself, and then peacefully you worship the Lord there. And Raghunath Das was saying, yes, I will do it. Very soon I will do it. Thank you for advising. And next time, after some time, Raghunath Das Goswami was sitting meditating on Radha and Krishna and Radha Kunda. And he became so absorbed in his meditation, he forgot himself. Noontime arrived, the sun was very hot. So Sanatana Goswami was passing through, and he saw Srimati Radharani herself covering Raghunath Das Goswami's head with her sari to protect him from the sun. And she was sweating under the sun. And that Sanatana Goswami could not tolerate. So he later chastised Raghunath Das Goswami very strongly. How can you do like this? Radharani is the object of our love and service, and you are accepting service from her. That's very, very improper. Immediately make a bhajan kutir. For immediately that same day start to make the bhajan kutir like that. Raghunath Das Goswami, while he was living in Radha Kunda, he will only drink every 2 days a little cup of buttermilk. One Brajavasi will bring a leaf cup and he will take every second day. One day, this Brajavasi came with a bigger leaf, bigger cup. So Raghunath Das Goswami asked him, from where you got this leaf? That's from Sakistan. That's the place of Chandravari. So Raghunath Goswami threw it away. I can't accept anything from her. She's competitor of my Swami. That's his mood, loving mood. One day, Raghunath Goswami was feeling stomach ache. So the devotees brought an Ayurvedic doctor to see him. So he took his pulse and he said, Goswami Maharaj is having indigestion. The devotees were shocked. How can somebody who doesn't eat have indigestion? Not possible. And doctor said, no, according to Ayurveda, which was brought by Dambantari himself, my diagnosis can be wrong. 100% sure he has indigestion. So they asked Raghunath Goswami to explain. Please tell us how you got this indigestion if you don't eat. Raghunath Goswami said, well, I was unwilling to speak, but you are forcing me to speak. Last night, I went into the Leela, Radha and Krishna, and they were serving a big feast. So I sat down and they served me that same feast, big quantities. So that's why I have the indigestion. So that's a symptom of spiritual perfection. That in meditation, you're having an experience will manifest in the physical body. So that's very high caliber of devotees, like Raghunath Das Goswami. When Srila Prabhupada went there to Radha, he heard some proud Pujari Brahmana saying about Raghunath Das Goswami. Actually, Raghunath Das Goswami, he was not Brahmana, he was Shudra. I am Brahmana, I can give blessing to Raghunath Das Goswami. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur heard that, he became very upset. He decided to fast immediately. He started fasting. And all his disciples were fasting too. For 2-3 days, all of them were fasting. So some local people came to know, and they found the culprit, and they brought him, and he fell down at Srila Saraswati Thakur's feet, and he apologized and asked forgiveness. Then only Srila Saraswati Thakur broke his fast and his disciples. So one man asked Srila Saraswati Thakur, why you didn't just leave the place when you hear that? That's what we should do. If you hear some offense to Krishna or some Vaishnava, you close your ears and angrily you walk away. That's the best thing to do. Of course, in Shastra, Jiva Goswami said also that you can cut off the tongue of the offender. But that's for Kshatriyas like Maharaj Parikshit. Not for everyone. Kshatriyas they can do. Like when Shishupala was offending Krishna, all the Kshatriyas present there, they took the sword ready to chop off his tongue. But Krishna stopped them. It's okay, let him do it. Why? Because when Shishupala was born, Krishna went to see him. It's a faraway auntie. And he was born with 4 arms. So when Krishna hold the boy, 2 arms disappeared, only 2 arms were left. And the prophecy from the sky was heard that this boy will offend so much Krishna, Krishna will have to kill him. So Shishupala's mother prayed to Krishna, please, although my son may offend you, please forgive him. Krishna said, I will forgive him up to 100 times, but no more than that. Oh yes, that's good. I don't think my son will ever offend you that much. So when Shishupala was offending Krishna, Krishna was counting 54, 79, 99, 101. Everybody saw the soul coming out of the body, entering Krishna's body. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained, because I'm playing the part of an Acharya, and I'm coming to Vrindavan in a big car, so many disciples, I have to preach by the example, to establish the proper behavior, the proper attitude in visiting the Holy Dhamma. So to teach these people not to make offense, that's why I did this fast. To make them very much aware of their wrongdoing. So, he also established the Pushpa Samadhi of Srila Bhaktivedanta in Radha. And also a house where he sometimes would stay there, Bhajan Bhaktivedanta. And he said that we should build a second floor. And the disciple asked Guru Maharaj, what is the second floor for? Who will live there? He said, that's for my gurus. I'm not qualified to live in Radha Kunda. I'm going to live in Govardhan. And I will come every day to assist them in their service to Radha and Krishna. They will stay up there in the second floor. And I will come daily. They already left this world. So he wasn't speaking physically. He was speaking about their eternal seva. And he was also speaking about his own eternal seva to them, assisting them in their service to divine couple. So that was a smooth. I'm not qualified to live in Radha. And he was, such a high advanced pure devotee of Radha and Krishna. He's one of Manjaris in the spiritual world, but he was speaking humbly like that. So how much careful we should be approaching, higher divine realms. Don't take nothing for granted. We always should be careful not to make any offense to any inhabitants, to any Vaishnava visiting the Holy Dhamma. Holy Dhamma should be for purification, not, eat, sleep, and sense gratification. Then we become offended. That's why it is advised that for materialistic people, they should not stay more than 3 days in the person. Because if you engage in material activities in Vrindavan, even listening to mundane music, anything like that, speaking gossip, that's offense. So you should be very careful. Our mood should always be desire to purify our heart and mind so we can have the proper mental attitude to approach the holy places and the beautiful deities in the temple, so inspiring to all the devotees. So darshan means I'm going to go to see the deities. How much can we see with this material eyes? Rather, real darshan means we pray to Radha and Krishna or Nitai Krishna, please be kind and glance at me so by your glance I can get purified, so I can have a little glimpse of your glories. That's the proper mental attitude. So today is such holy place, Shri Vrindavan, and the most holy occasion of the appearance of Shri Radha Kunda. We should follow the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, the previous Acharyas, how we should develop this humble mood, loving surrender, praying for mercy and trying to overcome our anarthas. The other day, one devotee was saying in the class that we shall become detached from the desire to become detached. But actually, we should become attached to Krishna. then we don't have to worry about material attachment. We can become materially detached if we don't become more attached to Krishna. That's the point. And how we increase our attachment to Krishna? By repeatedly hearing, chanting, remembering about Him. So, I have some more interesting thing that Vaishnavas have spoke about Radha Kunda. Would you like to listen to that? Yes? Srila Bhakti Sundar Goswami he said that we are in a lower position. Smaran is injurious for us. You know, Smaran is one of the three main practice of devotional service, but certain people, they think Manaseva is the highest thing, you know, to serve the Lord, and Smaran, that's highest. But that's, according to our Acharyas, previous Acharyas, Kirtan is the highest. We are in the lower position, we are not fit to Smaran. Only sit down, remember Radha Krishna. We are not in that position. Sahajas are fonder of Smaran than Kirtan. They are followers of Smaran. They lead a secluded life and mentally they attempt to identify themselves with a particular Saki of their own age. They pretend to perform their duties, to occupy a place of service in a particular place of Vrindavan, in a particular lila, under the guidance of a particular Saki, and so on. They are required to meditate on all these things by their so-called Guru. This is the process amongst the Sahaja school, but we do not accept that. We consider it all false and imaginary. They are not fit for the plane. They do not have real sambandhya, knowledge of reality. They only practice the habitual repetition of a particular mental speculation. But anartha nivritti, removal of contamination, or any process based on it, cannot be affected thereby. Their imagined achievement is sheer concoction. They are not aware of the fact, the ontological gradation from Viraja to Brahmaloka, Vaikuntha, and Goloka. They are kukur churiwala, pontiffs, imagining their residence at Radha Kund. To think one can steal a bomb is self-deception. We consider that kind of smaran to be self-deception. Very strong words. And we see some of our devotees, they go and get in this initiation, no? What is called? There's a word for it. Siddha Pranali. Once, some time ago, I met two Spanish devotees, I know them from Spain, and they took such initiation. And they were explaining to me that the Guru explained to us, you sit down, you meditate, and that you're dressing like a Gopi Manjari, and you put this color of dress, and you put this kind of ornaments, and this kind of flower, and you prepare like that to go serve Radha Krishna in this form. And I asked them, are you free from material desires and attachments? They said, no, actually we want to make money, we want to get married, we want to enjoy life. So what are you doing this meditation? If you meditate like that, and if you die meditating, dressing like a lady, next time you become a lady. Maybe a devotee lady if you are fortunate, if you have enough security. So this is all mental concoction. They take it from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Remember Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Leela, in Navadvip, he revealed in the Sapta Praharana Leela, the Mahaprakash, the great revelation, he revealed to his followers who were they in Krishna Leela. He told them. But this saw him flapping his arms like that. And he asked him, you're doing some exercise? He said, no, don't tell anyone. One Babaji from Radha Kunda told me that I'm a peacock in the spiritual world and I'm practicing. We have to be careful, you know. Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Please, yes. Question time.
Is our, not in some artificial way or premature way, but is our actual position in eternal Leela,
Yes.
is it what I'm, don't break it, don't break it.
So I'm asking, actually someone asked me this question by internet, and I'm a little confused or not sure how to answer because I really don't know. Is our eternal position, is it, we supposedly we were there, that's another question, but is it fixed and we discover what it is? Or is it a question like in Bhakti Bhakti, one has a particular taste and one can choose and cultivate, and then based on one's taste and one's inclination, one develops that ability to have that eternal position. So do we have any choice in the matter, or is our eternal position already fixed and that's what it is?
Okay, very good question. Everybody understood the question? Okay. So I'm going to read one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita that answers that question. Okay? Here it is. The death blow to the Sahajas. The Sahaja propagate that without directly receiving Siddha Pranali, revelation of one's internal identity as a devotee, spiritual perfection is incomplete. Let them do so. Srila Bhakti Saraswati wrote several poems, one of which is Prakrita Rasa Sijata Dushani, 100 defects of the Sahaja conception. The defects are innumerable, but our Guru Maharaj put forward 100 of the defects in their process of advancement. Many they take spiritual advancement very cheaply. They are not prepared to pay the real price, but the death blow to them is this. Upajiya Vadelanta Brahmanda Vedi Yaya Viraja Brahmaloka Vedi Paravyoma Paya Tabe Yaya Tat Upari Goloka Vrindavana Krishna Charana Kalpa Vrikshe Kare Arohana. As one waters the devotional creeper, the seed sprouts and it gradually grows until it penetrates the walls of this material universe and goes beyond the Viraja river, which divides the spiritual world and the material world. It attains Brahmaloka and then reaches the Paravyoma, the spiritual sky, and then reaches this foremost spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. Rooted in the heart and watered by Shravana Kirtana, the Bhakti creeper goes until it attains the shelter of the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna in the topmost region of the spiritual sky. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 1953-54. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compared the devotional service to receiving Bhakti Lata, Bija, the seed of the devotional creeper. So, that means potentially in the seed there is a tree, but has to be watered down to grow. If there is no watering, there is no growing of the seed. And the watering is Shravana Kirtan. That's the water. Of course, the weeds has to be taken out, all the process, anartha, all this gradual process. So jumping over all this gradual process of Raganuga Bhakti, given by Rupa Goswami, starting from Shraddha to Prema, it's a gradual process, not immediately you jump to Swarup Siddhi. So potentially every Jiva soul has an eternal relationship with Krishna in a seed-like form. And when this, the heart is completely purified from all material contamination by the practice of sadhana bhakti, vaidhi bhakti, then Raganuga Bhakti may appear by the mercy